Hello.
Hola, boys. Oh, nice bathrobe, Mario. You going to the spa tonight?
Where are you, Mario?
Yeah, where?
What are you going for? A massage and a facial?
Yeah.
You're in a spa?
Yeah, in my own spa. Hi,
What's going on,
Harold.
Harold?
Yeah, don't surprise us, Mario. Don't show us something we don't need to see.
You won't see.
Okay. It's too early.
Yeah.
You're already in your Purim outfit, Mario.
Yeah, that's right. Wear that to
Going
show,
as
Mario. You'll be a big
Going
guy.
as a flasher.
You'll win
Yeah.
number one.
Going as a pervert.
Remember, Harold, like 40 years ago, those parties we used to go?
Yeah, crazy.
You were
Crazy.
dressed like a baby or Magda?
Magda came as a baby, and I came in a raincoat with little underwear underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Icho came with a cigar and his pipik.
And it's Pipik, yeah.
Gosh,
I
I,
don't know how
really missed out of these fun times
Oh,
before everyone became so from.
I think Marcia Teichman has the pictures. Somebody has the pictures.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
Oh.
think she has the pictures. The party was at Sam Pfefferman's house on Mansfield,
Yes.
the duplex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe Sam has the pictures. I have to find out.
Put it in the Colino.
Oh yeah, that's all we need.
Then we could raise some money. Who's going to pay not to post this picture?
I think that's called blackmail. I think that's what it's
Yeah.
called.
But you realize that was like 40 years ago, no?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be about, crazy.
38 years, something like that. Wow.
Really windy out. You hear it?
Oh yeah, and cold. Woo.
Yep. Who says we don't have 4 seasons in LA?
Oh God. You know, for a bit it was nice and sunny in the afternoon. All of a sudden they got cold and windy.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I have to send you a picture. Here, look at this picture.
Let me see.
Second. I'll post it for y'all. Hold on. It's so nice. I mean, it really is.
Oh, here's Johnny. Welcome.
Johnny.
I have to remember how to use this.
Oh, there you are. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, you're back in LA.
Yeah, I am.
You came for Purim?
Huh?
You came for Purim?
Purim, Pesach, who knows what. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're good.
Very
What are you
good.
showing us?
Oh, there we
Here,
go.
take a look.
Now I see. Now I see. Okay, I may as well join while I still
Oh, I see.
still awake.
Up here.
Isn't that beautiful?
Wow, where's that?
My office.
Oh, from your office?
Yeah, look at the mountains. They're covered in
Oh, that's
snow.
gorgeous.
Isn't
Wow.
that nice?
It looks like a
Clear it
painting.
was. What?
It looks like a painting.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, you're in Century City?
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's so gorgeous. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, hi.
It's worth all those taxes.
Whatever.
Johnny, are you in Los Angeles?
I'm in LA, yeah. Got in this fresh this
I
morning.
thought maybe you had like a background of your like living room in LA and you just put it up. And
Not quiet.
you left the Rebbitzin in Israel?
No, she's here. She's here. She wouldn't leave me. She wouldn't let me leave her alone.
Okay, we're
She ran to the plane.
on Lamed Zion 37. Bishma Ladidi, the Amina Mishum Deheter Mitzraf Ister. I hold that this concept of Heter Mitzraf Ister could go on the Nefishe Chulin. When there's a lot of Chulin over Truma, So since there's a lot of heter, we don't say that it's mitzvah to the Isser. That the reason why, if let's say truma, truma falls into chulin, and there's a problem because if you eat enough of it, you're going to end up eating a kazayas. Whether you have a lot of chulin or not a lot of chulin doesn't make a difference. If you can eat enough of the product, eventually you'll have a kazayas of truma. The whole issue of truma today is midrabanan. We're not machmir by bichtei achilas pras by truma drabanan. Okay. We use the pasuk by Nazir Mishras that when you soak bread in wine and the Nazir eats the combination, the Gemara wanted to say that it's because of Heter Mitzraf L'Isra Hudas. Maybe, no. Maybe Mishras teaches me a different thing. Litain Tam Ke'ikr Hudas. It's a very important issue in Yoreh De'ah, in Isser V'Heter, the concept that the flavor of a Dvar Isser is like having the Dvar Isser there as well. When we have a pot that has trephis absorbed into the walls of the pot, there's no trephis there, there's just the tam of the trephis. And maybe the word Mishras by Nazir and Yayin teaches me this concept of tam ki'ikr. And as long as you have the taste of wine, that's why the Nazir gets malchus.
We learned all this in Surba, I remember.
We learned it in Surba, and we use this as this. This whole blot is a source material for this issue of tam ki'ikr.
Right.
Absolutely, we learned it in Surba. Now, ulabaymi korka kashle ma'dikom Rav Dimi. For Abaya, what Rav Dimi had said was problematic. That by other Isurim, we don't say Heter Mitzraf L'Isra. It's only by Nazir, because of Mishras. Because Mosif Le'Kol Alin Tiyufta. And we asked all the various kashas that we learned yesterday, and we showed that the concept of Heter Mitzraf L'Isra is by other Isurim. So Hadar Amarle, so maybe we're going to learn that Mishras teaches me a different principle, not Heter Mitzraf L'Isra, but rather Litin Tam Ki'ikr. So the Gemara answers, Basar Deshani Lei, Rav Dimi gave Tirutzim, Abai accepted the Tirutzim. That event that really Heter Mitzraf L'Isra doesn't exist by other Yisrael, really only by Nazir. Amr Lei, Dilma Litain Tam Ki Irku Da Asa. Rav Dimi also can say maybe Mishras comes to teach me the principle of Tam Ki Ikr. Lichiditanya, Mishras. Ba L'Lamdenu Litim Tam Ki Ikr. To tell me that the flavor of something prohibited is like having the prohibited substance itself. For example, Im Shara Anavim B'mayim, you took grapes, you soaked them in water. V'yesh Bahem, and in the water is Tam Yain. Chai, if the Nazir drinks the water that has the Tam Yain, you're Chai. Umikan, Atadan, the Kol Yisron Shebetoyrim. The fact that this principle has been revealed to us by Nazir, it sheds light on other prohibitions. Orla, Klayak, Kela, Kerem, Basar B'chalav, Nevela, all these. We say like this. Uman Nazir she'ein Isuroi Isur Olam. And Nazir is only prohibited for 30 days, usually. It's not a permanent prohibition. Ve'ein Isuroi Isur Anah. The Nazir can not drink wine, but he can have anah from wine. He can sell it. The Yesh Heter L'Isura. Not only that, you can undo the Isser. The Nazir can go to a Chacham and ask the Chacham to nullify his neder. And yet, the Torah asabotam ke'ikr. The Torah revealed to us this principle that even by Nazir, whose prohibition has all these weaknesses, there is still a principle of tam ke'ikr. Klaya kera, the mixture of grapes with grain. There isurun isur oilam. Once something grows b'klaya kera, it's usur forever. The isur and isur anoya. Not only is it usur to eat, it's usur to benefit. Vein heter lisur. There's no heter for that isur. Ein odin sheyasabotam ke'ikr. So certainly, the flavor of klaya kerem invested in something will create an isur just like the ikr itself. V'hu adin la orla b'shtayim. Orla is asur bana, and there's no heter, but it's not permanent because a tree after 3 years, the fruit is not prohibited anymore. Armalei ahum rabbanon. One of the Chachamim said to Abai Ravo ki Omar, when Ravo said in the name of the Daf Yochanan that the word Mishras comes to teach us that heter is mitzraf le'isser, that was according to Rabbi Kiva. Hey, Rabbi Kiva. Which Rabbi Kiva? Ilem Rabbi Kiva da'achad is not. Rabbi Kiva oimer. Afilu sharapita b'yayin. If a person soaked his bread in wine, v'yesh bo kedei letzaraf kazayis, and there's enough bread and wine to be mitzraf to shir kazayis chayv. Umimai dilmahu deika kazayis be'ina. So that's not a raya for tam ke'ikr. Maybe it's tam on a case where there was a kazayis of yayin, even without the bread. And therefore he's benefiting from the yayin like a regular shear. Well then, the Gemara says, what would be the chiddush in that? Lafuke made a Tanakama. Maybe it is a chiddush to tell me that they don't hold like the Tanakama. The Amar Achi Yishte Revius Yayin. The Tanakama said you have to drink Revius Yayin. And Rabbi Kiva comes that if you drank a kazayis, you're also chayiv. So it's not that Rabbi Kiva. Ela Rabbi Kiva de Baraisa, the Tanya, the Kiva Oyer. Nazir Shashar Pito B'Yayin. A Nazir that soaked his bread in wine. The Achal Kazayis Mi Pas Umiyayin. And there was its starfus, a half a kazayis of bread and half a kazayis of wine. Chayiv. So that's clear that it's heter mitzraf le'isser, because the kazayis was a combination of the two. The kamoikim le'lahai v'chol mishras leheter mitzraf le'isser. So Rabbi Kiva seems to be learning mishras not for tam ki'ikr, but rather for the din of heter mitzraf le'isser. Where does Rabbi Kiva learn litin tam ki'ikr minole? He holds of that principle. The question is, where does he learn it from? The Gemara answers, Yolif mi basar v'chalav. He learns it from the din of basar v'chalav, because it says, Lo savashel gedi b'chalev mo. Now, when you cook meat and milk together, it's lav tam ba'amahu. You created a taste, yet v'asar. Achanami loshna. So he learns it from the whole din of basar b'chalav. So the more, how come the Chachamim don't learn tam ki'ikr from basar b'chalav? Rabbar mi basar b'chalav lo gamrina. De chidushu. Basar b'chalav is a completely novel din. Meat is a permitted item. Milk is a permitted item. You take these two permitted items, also they become usher. That's a chidush. My chidush. What is the chidush? Because each one independently is permitted. Uvadi adari osir, so climb nami. So basar b'cholov is not unique. When you plant grapes in a wheat field, each is permitted by itself. Uvadi adari osir. Rather, the chidush of basar b'cholov is something else. The toru le'kula ama b'cholov v'shari. You take a piece of meat and you soak it in milk a whole day. Mutter. All you have to do is wash it off. Now, there's a din we're not going to go into that if you soak, if it's got salt in it or spice, then if it's there for 24 hours, there's isurim created. But in general, you drop a cold piece of milk, cold piece of meat, raw, into cold milk, there's no isur created. You take the meat, you rinse it off, and you can eat the meat. It's only mavashale b'shulei osur. The Torah says if you cook it together, then it becomes osur. That's the chidush. Rabbi Kiva Nami, how can Rabbi Kiva learn this din of tam kicker from basar b'cholov? He also admits that basar b'cholov chidushu. Ella, so in a chanami, we don't learn it from basar b'cholov. Yolif migi ule goy, that when the battle of Midian at the end of Bamidbar took place, so Moshe was told that they have to kasher the vessels that they took booty from Midian. It has to be kashered. That if a pot was used on fire directly, so you have to kasher it through fire. If a pot was used through hot water, you have to put the pot, hagola, in hot water. That's the sugi of Giyulei Goy. Dam Rachmana, called Davar Sheyavo Ba'esh, any pot that obtained its absorption through fire, direct fire, Taviru Ba'esh V'tor, you have to put it, you have to use a torch to kasher. Lemeimra da Asiri, and Giyulei Goyim lav time of Alma. There's no trephis in these pots. There's just flavor of trephis in the pot. Yet osir. So here we see the concept of tam ke'ikar, chanami loishna. So by all other dinim, including Nazir, because we don't learn it from Mishras, because he uses Mishras for heter mitzarf li'isr. Now, Ul-Rabbanon, who learned tam ke'ikar from Mishras, nami tepuk le'migulei goyim. How come they don't learn, like Rabbi Kiva learned, the din of tam ke'ikar from treif pots? Amr lei, so Rav Ashi responded, Hosam chidushu. The halacha of Giyulei Goyim is a novelty, and therefore you can't learn it to other dinim. Now, what's the novelty? Now, we learned this as well in your day. Let's say you have something that gives a flavor, but the flavor is a bad flavor. It doesn't improve. It, in fact, does the opposite. Minat Torah, it's permitted. Yet, Gabi Giyulei Goyim osir. Even though there was a bad flavor in these pots, it was osir. So you can't learn the Chachamim say from Giyulei Goyim because it doesn't follow the rule of Nois and Tam Livgam is mut. Now, Rabbi Kiva did learn from Giyulei Goyim regarding other Isurim Nami Chidushu. How come he doesn't reject the ability to use this halacha for other Isurim? It's Nois and Tam Gam Osir. Rabbi Barchia Lo Yasra Torah El Kedera Bas Yomer. That Minat Torah, only a ben yomo, only a pot that's been used within 24 hours by trephus, then it's osir. Because it's a Mesorah, the lab nois and tam kamu. Within the first 24 hours, a ben yomo pot is not livgam. Beyond 24 hours, it's already mutter min Torah. Now, what do the Rabbanon say about that? So, Kedera Bas Yom Nami Yefsha Shelo Pagama Purta. Even in the first 24 hours, there's going to be a little noise and tam livgam a little bit. And yet it's still usher to cook in a pot like that. So, just to remind everybody about the Dine Kashrus, if you have a pot, a fleshik pot, so you may not cook milk in it within the first 24 hours. That creates basar b'chol of midoraisa. Because within the first 24 hours, the tam is not livgam, is not a bad flavor. If you take a pot beyond 24 hours and cook milk in it, so first of all, you can't do it lechatchila. It's a gzeira midrabanan not to do it. But if you did it, it's only a gzeira that we don't eat it. And technically, you could eat it if it was a hefzer. Because it's not, because beyond 24 hours, it's nois and tam livgam, and midoraisa it's not usr. So we also have a gzeira. Technically, you don't have to toivel such a pot beyond 24 hours because it's permitted. But we have a gzeira that we toivel it before we cook something milk in it, even if it's beyond 24 hours, we toivel such a pot as well. Even though it's beyond 24 hours, it's nois and tam livgam, we do that as a gzeira. Okay, before we go further, I just want to summarize some of the halacha. A pot that you buy from a goy that had something cooked in it treif. So the first day you shouldn't cook kosher meat in it. And if you cooked it, the meat is prohibited. And if you cook something else in it, not meat, it's also if it absorbed the flavor from that pot. So if you buy a kli from a goy, now it was used for hot water, so you toivel it, and then you first dip it in hot water, and then you toivel it, and then they're kosher. And otherwise, you're not permitted to use it. Something that is prohibited, that puts a flavor into a heterodicta pot, so it asers it. But if it gives a bad flavor, then it's permitted. And the Torah, lo aser Torah, el keder bas yoima, that by minat Torah, an unkosher pot is something that was cooked that day. And beyond that day, it's not also minat Torah, but the Chachamim, like I said, aser the cooking it as a gzeira. Back to the Gemara. Amalei Ravacha Brei Ravavia l'Ravash. Mid Rabbanon Nishma. we heard the sheet of Rabbi Kiva. Lava mi Rabbanon ki hai mishras litin tam ki iker. Umikala tadan l'chol yisron shebetoira. How the Chachamim learned that from mishras, from soaking grapes in water, there's a concept that even the flavor of a prohibited item is like the prohibited item itself. So the Rabbi Kiva Nami, the Kamukim Leilai Mishras, he's masbir, the word mishras, to teach me that if I have a half a kazayas of bread with a half a kazayas of wine, it's mitzarf le'isser. Why don't he say as well? Rav Avon, the name of Yochanan, had said that heter mitzarf le'isser only works by nazir, not by other Yisurin Shabbatorah. The question is, why doesn't Rabbi Akiva extend the din of heter mitzarf le'isser to all other Yisurin Shabbatorah, not just by nazir? So Amar Lei, Rav Ashi gave a reason. Mishum davi nazir v'chatas ne'ksuvim aboin ke'echad. So by nazir, we have this din of heter mitzarf le'isser. And by a korban chatas, we have the same din. And there's a principle in Tanakh of Rabbi Shmuel. Shekol shnei ksuvim abam kechad, two psukim that teach the same din, ein melamdin. They're unique and they're not taught to other dinim. Now, nazir hadamar, the issue of heter mitzarf le'isser by nazir, we learned already from Mishras. But where do we see heter mitzarf le'isser by korban chatas? Chatas ma'id. The Tanya. It says by a chatas, kol asher yiga bivsara yigdash. Whatever touches the meat of a chatas becomes like a chatas. And you have to treat whatever it touched like you would treat a chatas. Yachal afilu shelo bala. I might think that would be the din. Even if the thing that touched the chatas didn't absorb a flavor from a chatas, just touched it. Talmud loimer bifsara. Ad sheyivla bifsara. It has to absorb. So something that touches a chatas, if it absorbs the flavor, then you have to treat it like a chatas. Yigdash lios kamo. She'im psulahi, pasal. If the chatas had become pasal for some reason, that thing that just touched the chatas is also pasal. Vim ksheira, and if the chatas is kosher, heyochel kachomer shaba. The thing that touched the chatas can only be eaten with the stringencies of a chatas. For example, it can only be eaten by a kohen, it can only be eaten in the azara. Okay. Now, Rabbanan who argue with Rabbi Kiva say tzrichi, that the din had to be told both by nazar and chatas. They would not have been able to teach regarding the other halacha. And it's not a din of shnei ksuvim abam kecha. Now, why can't you learn chatas from nazir, nazir from chatas? Because Rachman al gabi chatas. If you've only taught me this din of heter mitzarf le'isser, by chatas having been a nazir la'asimine, I wouldn't have been able to learn nazir from it. Mishum shenazir mikotchim lo yalfinon. The general rule: you don't learn nazir for kotchim. Because Rachman Nami Gabi Nazir, if the din of heter mitzarf le'isser was written only by nazir, havamina mi nazir lo yalfina mishum dechamer isurei. There's a lot of stringencies by nazir. How what? Shafilu chartzan asrei. Even the seed or the leaves of the grape is asr. So the chatas couldn't be learned from there. So you have two different dinim. It's not under the category of shnei ksuvim, under the category of shnei ksuvim aboim kecha. How does Rabbi Kiva respond to this? Rabbi Kiva Amar Lecha L'may tzrichi. Well, you don't need it. We didn't need it. Bishmi because Rachmana by Chates Loy Gomer Nazir Mine. I understand that you couldn't have learned Nazir from Chates because Chulam Mikachim Lo Garmina. And Lichtov Rachmana ben Nazir. If you would have told me the din of Heter Mitzraf Yisr by Nazir, I would have understood. V'teisi Chates Mine. The Hakol Yisr and Shabbatarka Gomer Min Nazir. We analogized to all other Yisroim Shabbat Torah. So certainly could have analogized the Chatas. Rabbanan Amri Lecha, Chatas leheter mitzraf le'isr. We don't teach that the whole Torah ki chulmi kochim lagamrinan. Other dinim in the rest of the Torah chulin, so we don't learn it from kochim. What about mishras? That's a different halach. Litin tam ki'ikr. That a flavor absorption is like the initial prohibition. And that concept of tam kicker is analogized to other Yisroim. Now, Rabbi Kiva, tarvayu leheter mitzraf le'isr. Both are needed. Both the din of mishras and the din by chatas are needed for the basic din of heter mitzraf le'isr. The Havalu Shnei Ksum Abam Kechad, Shnei Ksum Abam Kechad, and lamdim to the rest of Yisroim Shabbat Torah. Omler Vashin Rav Kana. Elahad Tanya Mikol Asher Yasa Mikefana Yayin Lo Yeyochel Limed Al Yisroim Nazir Shem Mitztarfin Zemzeh. So you have a half a kazayas of olive leaves and half a kazayas of grapes. They're all mitztarf, according to Rabbi Kiva. Now, Hashli Yeshloimar Sheheter Mitzraf le'isr, Isr le'isr maboy. Now, Rabbi Kiva already told us, you take a permitted item like bread, half a kazayis, and you add it to half a kazayis of wine, and Heter's Mitzraf le'isr. Do I need a limud that Isr is going to be Mitzraf le'isr? Certainly it would. Omer le, no. Heter le'isr is mitztarif b'vasachas. The special stringency of heter mitzraf l'isr is only if I eat it together. But isr mitzraf l'isr filu b'zachar zeh. That means if I eat grape seeds and then I eat grape leaves, one after another sequentially, it's mitztarif to a kazayis and it's usr. By heter mitzraf l'isr, I got to eat it together b'vasachas. Okay. We'll stop here.
Oh, yeah, I mean.
A lot of, yeah.